Christmas 1956.
Well, I guess the right decade.
Yeah, we got quite the primary source here, right?
Absolutely.
What does all this tell us, though? I mean, if this is the audience, Kenneth must have been a kid, getting this as a Christmas present from his favorite aunt, or who is soon to be his favorite aunt for giving him Electronic Selector. 2026 marks the 250th anniversary of the Declaration of Independence, the foundation of an American popular culture mosaic. This is the Everything's a Primary Source podcast, a show dedicated to learning history through pop culture. I'm your host, Eric Salmonson. As part of the America at 250 public history road trip, I traveled across the country collecting stories, each one a piece of that mosaic, connecting personal experience to the media, people, and places that shape our lives. This season brings those stories together because pop culture, at its core, unites us. Everything is a Primary Source is, therefore, a way to understand your history, my history, our history, through popular culture. So we have another Eric here, but you go by Rick. Mm-hmm. And when did you make that decision? When did Eric turn to Rick?
Oh, that was a long time ago. My parents did that before I remember.
Yeah.
And actually I went by Ricky back then.
Because I've always found that my name, and do you spell it with a C or a K or?
Just R-I-C.
R-I-C, it's me as well. That it's already nice and short and solid, but you shortened it. They shortened it even more.
Yeah.
Just to.
And it's kind of interesting because it's such a rare nickname that I kind of look for it in various things. So there's a movie CGI person whose name shows up in the credits once in a while, and I keep forgetting the name and group, but Rick Ocasek, is it? From one of the pop groups.
Yeah, that does sound kind of familiar.
So he goes by R-I-C.
But he's a Rick as well. Yeah, now that you mention it, because what I'm trying to say is I didn't know we could shorten our name further. It's already a short name. It's like if you say it one way, it could even be one syllable there.
Yes.
But it's Rick. And from my table, I'm so glad that you chose this because I found this a couple months ago now, probably like a lot of the stuff over here. I found it at Goodwill bins, Goodwill by the Pound. I don't know if you've ever been to one of those,
yep.
Where it's just you sort through all the stuff that they have. And I just love the graphics. I mean, on the cover of it, what we're looking at is a game, I guess, or a project called Electronic Selector, the playway to knowledge, questions answered by electricity. I don't know if it's like shock therapy type stuff, like if you get it wrong, you get shocked, or...
It appears to have a bunch of cards in here with probably questions and potential answers.
Yeah.
With holes in them. So you've got a wire that goes into a circuit board of sorts made out of aluminum. I'm not sure if this works at all. So you line up with one question with the answer, I guess. Or I guess you line up a picture with an answer.
And then you...
Let me see.
So it's like almost like those old test forms where the teacher would grade it.
So things like famous explorers, and this one's history of aviation.
Let's see how we do. Maybe we can ask some of the questions.
Well, first of all, I've got to figure out if this works.
Kind of hoping it does, but at the same time, I hope it doesn't.
No, it doesn't.
Okay.
May at least need batteries, but this is really, I'm sure this was designed in the 1950s because it really has that sort of feel to it.
Well, you jumped right in, and not only what was it about this box that caught your eye?
Oh, the electronic stuff on it. I have a degree in electrical engineering, but I was never hireable as an electrical engineer. I'm a software engineer. Okay,
because I would never think, like, just my own personal experiences with electricity, I wouldn't be brave enough to put two ends of a wire together like that. But you just did that, and you knew nothing would happen.
Well, I knew that there was a very good chance that I wouldn't get electrocuted.
Yeah.
This being the kid's toy.
Because it's a box. But it does have batteries still laying around. They're not plugged in.
We should check that out.
Yeah.
Oh my. Yeah, this is probably not worth trying to get working.
Yeah.
Basically, we've got, I guess that is supposed to take one, oh, maybe that would work.
One giant, what was that, D
This
size?
is a D-cell,
D-cell.
so it will go either way. It was held in by Scotch tape.
That looks safe.
There is another, just a carbon zinc battery here that says 30 cents each.
I'm curious if that's also from the time period.
It probably is.
Wow.
It's Ever-Ready 9 Lives battery from Union Carbide.
Wow.
It really looks pretty ancient. That price is certainly ancient. I'm surprised that it doesn't leak.
We got a lot to work with right now.
Well, there's still a very good chance that this doesn't work. Put the wires together. Yeah, I think I need at least a new battery.
If it did work, it doesn't look like it would be remarkably complex game.
No, not at all.
It looks like there's circuitry, looks like some kind of connection, and I imagine if you get the question, what are some of the questions like? Just see if we could run it and...
Let's see. Basically, this is 2 4x4 grids. So half the things are pictures, half the things are text. And I assume you're supposed to see the picture and line it up with the text. So here's a picture of 3 biplanes, I guess flying around in some clouds. So the text that goes with it can't be the first airship, can't be the first Atlantic crossing. Not the first seaplane flight. Actually, hang on. Oh, wait a minute.
So it's a matter of like process of elimination type thing? Is that... Let me see.
Pretty much.
'Cause I've had this for a little while, but I've never actually looked into it. And so it's, it looks like you're trying to tell a story of some kind, or
I think it's just
like narrow things
questions
down.
and images.
Yeah.
Okay, here's one that should be pretty obvious to pick out. First parachute jump. So there should be a picture showing a parachute. There we go. Picture of the guy with a square parachute over here. And what we would find is circuit patterns in this foil. Probably connect that hole to that hole. And you probably get the same pattern on all of these.
Okay, because I'm looking at, this is fitting for one of my stops along my trip. Pikes Peak, Colorado. It says famous Rocky Mountain peak named for its discoverer, Zebulon M. Pike, a soldier explorer. And then there's a picture nearby, a few slides away, of a mountain. So, Electronic Selector, I wish you had your directions in here, because then that make a lot more sense.
Yeah.
While we look through this, though, I mean, just the nature of the graphics, the nature of the questions or clues or whatever it is, who's the intended audience or user of this?
Oh, this is definitely grade school kind of thing.
Okay.
Actually, maybe later grade school grades, because some of the, I guess a lot of the stuff really grade school kids don't really need to know about. Like, actually, just wanted to see if this picture of the parachute lines up with parachute jump here. And there's a photo here, some buildings. Oh, and pelicans and things, and the text that says Southeast Coastal States. So I've got the same pattern. So one square on one side matches up to a square on the other side for all of these.
Oh,
Sure.
okay.
So once you learn the pattern, you really don't...
You're a genius. You can just like
there's even things on the backside.
impress everybody with going from one card to the next, and I assume if you get the pattern right, the light goes on.
Yeah, the topics are things like wildlife, national monuments, the life of the cowboy, history of aviation, geography, the life of the Eskimo.
All the stuff that a kid in the 1950s would probably be interested already.
Yeah.
And they're just adding this extra level. And it has around the box. I mean, the box makes it seem like a lot more exciting game than it actually is. You have a kid who's dialing this giant tower. It looks like something out of the old Superman cartoons. And, he might be some kind of supervillain here. But, it's Jack Marr Electronic Selector, history and pictures, famous explorers, geography, national costumes, history of nation. And what is all of this if you had just this, and it actually has a handwritten, this was to Kenneth from Aunt Rita Ross, Christmas 1956.
Well, I guess the right decade.
Yeah, we got quite the primary source here, right?
Absolutely.
What does all this tell us, though? I mean, if this is the audience, Kenneth must have been a kid, getting this as a Christmas present from his favorite aunt, or who is soon to be his favorite aunt, for giving him Electronic Selector. What does that tell us about 1956 America?
Well, there are a couple of things going on here. One is that the electronic selector part, kind of trying to attach to the high-tech stuff of the day, of the electricity and batteries and so on. So a lot of it wasn't all that long before when Thomas Edison was doing interesting stuff. And I think he actually died in the 1940s, but I don't remember the years of things like the electric light bulb and bringing the electricity to the general masses and whatnot.
Yeah.
But it was not all that long before 1956.
Yeah. I mean, we're looking at 1890s. A lot of these phones and stuff would be correct to the late, I see 1880. And I know the 20s was really when all of that came to roost, when they celebrated people like Edison and Bell for bringing this modern world to us. And then by 1956, we've been through, by that point, another world war. It really does seem like in the 50s, this is the atomic age, that involving yourself with technology of any kind was perfectly part and reasonable as a future for everybody. That now this is clearly marketed. If I ask the intended audience, probably a boy's toy.
Oh, absolutely.
You wouldn't be having girls having this marketed to them. And nowadays it would be unisex. They wouldn't have any differentiation. But between working with electricity, very simply, and then answering these kinds of questions, what clues does that give us about, say, even like the educational system in America in the post-World War II era? Support for this episode comes from iCivics. As we celebrate the 250th anniversary of our nation, iCivics is looking ahead to see how we'll bring that history to life in the classroom this fall. As you plan your upcoming curriculum, put Investigation Declaration at the top of your list. In this new game from iCivics, middle and high school students don't just read about 1776, they live it as Secret Agent 6. Their mission? To stop the global crime ring BARF, the baddies against rights and freedom, from erasing the foundations of our democracy. It's the perfect way to turn this 250th milestone into a season of discovery. Give your students a deeper understanding of natural rights and the social contract on their own terms. Get a head start on your best school year yet. Explore Investigation Declaration now at bit.ly/investigation declaration. That's bit.ly/investigation declaration.
I guess one of the things that kind of surprises me about this is it's actually touching some pretty wide-ranging stuff here. So just this history of aviation thing, it goes from the first parachutes and first balloons to first public flights, which weren't all that long before 1956 either. Nothing about jet airplanes, because there weren't any commercial jet airplanes then. But it actually does seem to do a pretty good job of covering the general state of the world then.
Yeah.
And
it might be just the pattern of the pictures, but don't they almost kind of give you like a television screen sense? I mean, this is a TV generation. These kids are watching TV in the 50s, and it's going to just go even further than that. And TVs are electric. This is electronic. Almost like confirming yes, this is the right world. You're in the right place. Looking at the world through screens and now even interacting with it through electricity. We're all, preparing for this next phase, and let's start them young. Let's get these kids interested in connecting two wires together and turning on a light, that they can work this, and that battery powered stuff can be more than just your dad's flashlight. It can be for your entertainment. And I wonder how many, when you get into electrical engineering, were you self-taught in any way? Did you?
No, my father was also an electrical engineer. One of the things that he would do on Saturdays when he had to go into work is bring me along and set me down with a piece of wire and a pair of wire strippers, and I just strip off wire from things, and quickly figured out that, if I cut off a little bit of insulation, I can do this for a lot longer and whatnot. And later on, he let me play around with some electromechanical calculators that they had, and eventually he designed a process control computer. This was in 1962 or so, 63, I guess. And he claimed it was so easy to program that a 12-year-old could do it. And since he happened to have a 12-year-old at home, he taught me how to program part of it. So that was the first computer I ever programmed. I've been around the electronic stuff all along. One of my tasks in high school was to keep our television working. It's all done with vacuum tubes, and the vacuum tubes wore out after a while, so I'd diagnose a problem, take out the suspect tubes, bike over to the local drugstore, test them in the tube tester, buy replacements if necessary. Then I discovered across the street and down the road a little bit was a radio supply store that catered to TV and radio repairmen, and apparently tolerated wholesale sales of kids on bicycles.
Yeah.
So I started buying the tubes from them at lower prices. So I kept the television going a lot longer than it really should have gone on. And when I graduated from high school, my grandparents came out for that, and my grandmother was horrified to see we still had a black and white television.
But it worked.
It worked.
Right?
It worked fine. But my parents got color TV for the graduation, for their anniversary present. Then a month or two later.
That's wonderful.
So
it's such a different world, and it wasn't even that long ago. But it was such a different world that I was talking to another gentleman before off air about Radio Shack, and I remember Radio Shack. It still existed when I was a kid, and it didn't close down until pretty recently, but I still remember the tail end of, like, the front of Radio Shack's store was standard electronics televisions. I remember admiring the remote control cars there, like those. And of course they had the batteries, so you'd get Radio Shack batteries, but the back of the store, and even the further back where only the employees could go, that's the actual parts. Those were the things that people that knew their way around, like yourself, would go in and say, I'm looking for this particular item, A24B, all this different part, and they would have it.
100 picofarad ceramic capacitor.
Right.
That sort of thing.
Like they would be like, 1 minute, and they would find it for you. And we don't have that anymore because there's no demand for it anymore.
There is a demand, but it's not big enough for retail stuff. The online world has replaced some of that, and there are sites like a company called DigiKey, which has done a very good job of catering to both very large corporate customers who need 1,000 or 10,000 of some item, but they can also sell 3 and 4 parts to individual experimenters. And they have something like 1 million different parts in stock.
Wow.
Just utterly amazing when you go to the website and say, I need a 50 microfarad electrolytic capacitor, but there's 250 choices here?
Almost, that's one of the, if there's a downside to globalization, it would be almost too much variety.
Yeah.
It's nice having lots to choose from, but if you have too much to choose from, then it can cause for gridlock, and you just can't make your decision because you're going to feel like, now I have 249 trade-offs and opportunity costs of what I got.
Yeah, another problem is that advent of microelectronics means that so many things these days have specialized components in them that cannot be replaced through any other source other than the manufacturer. And when the manufacturer goes out of business, then you're really pretty much stuck.
Yeah, and the devices, sometimes you have to wonder if they're almost designed to just be completely disposed of and buy a brand new one.
Oh, there's an awful lot of that. But some of that also falls out of stuff that is useful. So, my little cell phone here, to make that be something that was serviceable, I would not be able to carry it very easily. At home, I have 2 tower computer systems, desktop side systems. And whenever I need a new computer, I take the older one and rebuild it and put in a new motherboard, new boards and things and whatnot. And I have something that is easy to work with and easy to upgrade and whatnot. But it's a lot bigger than necessary, and people make a lot of like cute little miniature PCs these days that don't take up much space and do just fine. But you really don't want to have anything break on them.
I'm wondering if this kind of game, maybe not this exact one, because it's not the greatest thing in the world, but I wonder what kind of role that those kinds of things had in creating said world of mid 20th century people with comfort with working with these kinds of things and building their own, sort of like a skill set, because they had so many support systems around them that they had games maybe encouraging their interest in it. And then, when I go to a drugstore now, they don't have any of that. I don't even think they do a photo booth anymore at drugstores, let alone testing a tube for your television.
Yeah. In a lot of ways, we've kind of gotten away from maintaining stuff and repairing stuff and whatnot. I think a better example is cars. In the 1960s, every high school kid who had a car knew how to change the oil, knew how to change the spark plugs, knew how to change the points and stuff, because they kept wearing out. Mm-hmm. And bias tires would last for 10,000 miles or so instead of the 30,000 they do these days. So the last car I bought, I can't remember the last time I checked the oil on it. I really should.
Immediately after this, but yeah.
Yeah, it's got 56,000 miles on it now, and back in the 1960s, I wouldn't be calling it I would not be thinking of it as a new car anymore.
Right. Now they can last for 200,000 miles or more.
I got 300,000 out of a Saturn SL2 a couple of cars ago.
It is. It's a telling thing. Here's something we can do to put this all together. In addition to these questions, I've also been trying to connect these artifacts to the 250th, the Declaration of Independence. And I would say, and this is my take on it, I have 2 takes on it. One, being able to fix things yourself, which, side note, I work at a school that has a career tech programs in it, so they teach the trades there. I just had a graduate of that from about 10 years ago come to my house last week and did a whole new switch breaker box for me because mine went, and their abilities are high demand because, like you said, not everybody can do it anymore. It's a very specific thing. And that goes with all the other trades. There's kids that know how to fix cars and do oil changes, but they're not the majority anymore. They're trained to do it. My connection that I'm making to Declaration of Independence would be that gives you a lot of independence as a person if you know your way around electronics, if you know your way around how to fix your car, how to do that. But then also Thomas Jefferson, he would, if he was alive, he'd probably very much support this game as just who he was. He was an interested guy. He was
one of the things that has greatly improved in the last couple of decades is all of the self-help or how to do things on YouTube videos. Yeah. So soon after I moved to my current house, I managed to break a water pipe. I won't go into the details there, but the pipe was made out of something called CPVC piping, which I didn't know anything about. I know something about PVC pipes, didn't know about the CPVC pipe. So I went off and got online and looked up that and discovered Master Plumber had recently posted a couple things talking about how CPVC pipe gets brittle with age and how it probably should all get replaced and whatnot. And I had instructions on dealing with breaks that he just repaired for a customer and whatnot. So that gave you enough information to understand that, oh, gee, when I tried to cut this piece of other pipe that I had, it just shattered in the jigsaw I was using. So I came down to the hardware store and got a proper hand saw that was more gentle on the pipe and got the appropriate primer and glue for the pipe, and went home and fixed all of that myself without needing a plumber.
Yeah, and that's once again, it's like American dream type stuff, like home ownership and also being a steward of your home and being able to take care of things yourself is very much kind of codified in the Declaration of Independence of finding one's way. So, Rick, I had a wonderful time talking with you. I'm so glad that you stopped by for the Everything's a Primary Source podcast. And,
well, I've been a member of the museum ever since I finally got around to dropping in one day. So I figured I should drop in and see what all this was about.
Well, I appreciate it.
I'm pleased that you chose the Telephone Museum as your first stop.
I couldn't have chosen anywhere else. I love it here. I think it's such a perfect spot. And it connects me, no pun intended. That's not a great pun for telephones, but it brings me folks such as yourself who have such interest in both the technical side of things like telephones, but also the more human side of what they function for. So thank you so much for your insights.
Oh, my pleasure.
Each podcast episode has us uncovering another piece of the mosaic that is the American experience through pop culture. It's what connects us across backgrounds and perspectives. These episodes are here to be enjoyed, but they're also built to spark learning in and out of the classroom. Visit everything-history.com to learn more. Be sure to like and share this episode and the podcast itself. You can follow Everything as a Primary Source on social media, including YouTube and especially Instagram. I look forward to you joining me again next time on the EPS podcast, where everything is a primary source.